Alright, so today we are going to be talking about my favorite hill climb car. So, I think my favorite has got to be the Moonlander. When I started out with the red car, it's alright. It's pretty basic and standard. It's fairly fast. In fact, let's change this up a bit and try testing out every car on the home stage. Alright, so hill climber. Fairly fast. Could use a little more suspension. Alright, next car. Oh, and let's check this. Camera's in the way. So that was fully upgraded. So even fully upgraded, the hill climber is not that great. So if you are beginning at hill climb and you've gotten other cars that are doing better, I would not waste your coins on upgrading the hill climber car to its max when you could be saving up for something else. So that's just my preference. Although if it's helping you so far, I wouldn't say not to. Alright, motorcycle. Probably move my camera. Ah, dang it. Camera's getting in the way. Camera. Where am I gonna put you? Alright, there we go. That looks like a safe spot to put you. Alright, so that is not all that upgraded, so not too fast. It's only a little bit of the way upgraded, but you can see it's alright. It's not that great. Monster truck. Pretty good stability. Pretty good. Suspension's much better than the hill climber car. I do like the traction. It's doing pretty good. Let's see how well it accelerates. Yeah. Definitely like the traction on this thing. It's not my favorite car. It's not fast enough, not stable enough. But as far as gas goes, it's doing all right. And that was with these upgrades, so obviously four-wheel drive's not all that upgraded, and tires and shocks, so can't blame it for underperforming as it did. In fact, let's check out the tunes before doing the rounds. So here's a tractor, and here we go. It's pretty fast for a tractor, actually. Definitely not as slow as a normal tractor. Traction's not that great. It's fairly easy to control. It's a little hard not to tip over. Like, as far as when you're going up a hill, the front end wants to roll backwards, that way it tips back when you're going up, but that nose pipe does really help though. Alright, hippie band. So here's the stats. This is engine, suspension, boost. That's different than the rest, and obviously fuel. Very slow. It has very good traction though. See how very quick at accelerating, very good at stopping. Very bouncy. Handled pretty well actually on the collision. Starting to fall apart. And stop. Alright, so that was a hippie van. Overall, I'd say I don't really like it. It's performs better than the tractor, but so far out of all these, I actually like the hill climber car. In fact, I think I could get the farthest with it between these. One-wheeler, here's the upgrades. It's about halfway upgraded on the engine and suspension, but on the tires and the, what is that, battery. Makes sense, it's in the fuel spot, so the battery's upgrade. It's about only a fifth to a quarter. So here we go. And stop. And go. Something I noticed right there is when you are in air, if you lean forwards while you're in air, you will continue to fall forwards till you hit the ground. He's doing pretty well not hitting the ground actually. He's gotten really close several times. And there. So, I've also noticed that the traction on the one-wheeler is not that good if you're going up a hill. I think the hippie van would beat it, maybe even the tractor. Definitely the hill climber. So, one-wheeler, it's kind of more of a fun car than an actual performance car. Now let's try out the quad bike. So, upgrades. All of them have been upgraded twice, so... or level 2, I don't know, I'm pretty sure they all start at 1, so they've only been upgraded once, but that's to level 2, so. Anyways, so pretty much basic level. As you can see, right when it dropped, the suspension was pretty loose. Goes pretty fast for a beginner car. But, I don't know, not that great. But can you expect it to be with the upgrades being so basic? I do kind of like it because it was fairly fast for a starter car not being upgraded that much. But now let's check out the trophy truck. Engine's almost all the way upgraded. In fact, no, I'm not gonna get it. I'm waiting to get the new stage that just came out. Suburbs. I'm looking forward to it. New car came out too. Recently. This is like March 2022. So, fast car. I'm looking forward to it. I'm thinking it's gonna be the fastest car. One of the fastest cars. So, powerful engine and sporty chassis make this one of the fastest out there. One of. So is it the fastest car? In fact, I think I'm going to get the fast car before I get the suburbs, because just for the testing, I want to see if it's the fastest car, because right now, I like the rally car. I think that is the fastest car out there, so really I'm gonna be competing it, and this is maxed out, so we're gonna be getting to it. Trophy truck. And go. It started to come up on its front wheels when I gunned it, so that's pretty good. Suspension's really nice actually. Because it has such a long body, it's very hard to tip over. It's much longer than the rest of the cars, and what you see when the back tail hits the hill when it comes down from a jump, it doesn't spin forwards too fast because it's so long. It has its inertia stops it from flipping so much like the motorbike, because the motorbike's so short and not as lengthy. So, anyways, I'd say this is a really good car for a bumpy place like this, actually. In fact, it's doing an outstanding job as so far. So I definitely do like this car. This is one of my favorite cars. It's not my favorite car, but it's definitely on my list of, I think, top 10 cars. In fact, I should probably make a list of top 10 cars, so. And by the way, I did miss that gas on purpose, because I'd like to get on to the next car. Yeah, I'm not that sloppy of a driver. I didn't miss it on accident, just in case anyone's wondering. Alright, the tourist bus. I love taking this down the Arctic Cave and hitting everyone's head on the icicles. It is so funny. Alright. Quite slow. Good traction. Okay, engine. That's terrible. The suspension goes down so much, and the front of the bus is so low that it hits the ground when it goes on a rope bridge or a big bump. So, like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen again. Nope, not really. But it does really not. It's definitely a flat kind of car, like maybe highway. Yeah, and that's not even that steep of a hill. Tried to tip it over. Couldn't, so. But it's not really going that fast to be able to tip over, so. Doing all right. Can't really tip it over. Moving on. Oh, and that was with halfway upgraded engine, third suspension, roughly a third on the tires, and only 3 upgrades for the gas total, so gas doesn't really increase performance though, so altogether that was the bus roughly halfway on performance, and it was performing quite roughly, so I don't really like the tourist bus for performance. It's definitely a fun car to have though. Race car. Very fast. That foiler does help it stay to the ground. I do actually notice that when it is on the ground, it stays on the ground. When it goes airborne, it kind of floats a little bit, but when it's on like the highway and stuff, it does keep good traction. So if you're going over a hill that might want to throw you up a bit, this race car specifically is better at staying on the ground when it gets up to speed. So, I definitely like this car, but because it is so similar to the rally car in performance, and the rally car being a blue rally car, they're kind of like the same car in a sense of they're both fast cars, both flat to the ground, both not great on jumps, and because I have to come down to one or the other, I pick the rally car. And that's being because the rally car is faster. And I know I'm going in order, but I think I'm going to jump to the rally car next just to do a direct comparison. And keep in mind that the race car is not fully upgraded. And let's increase the traction. So this is how you downgrade, and this is how you upgrade. And then it goes to the level where you have to pay for it. So, alright, so we're going to do the rally car next to show a comparison. It's kind of getting pushed to the back of the screen because it's going so fast. This board is definitely not the best board for every car. In fact, I would say that the car has to be picked based on what board or stage you're going to be playing. I think they're actually called stages. So, I would definitely pick a car that's best for your stage. Like, this is not, just like the race car, this is not a bumpy terrain place, but the reason why I picked countryside to do the all cars test on is everybody has the countryside stage, and it's just got a really good level to flatness versus terrain and traction tests and rope bridges. It's kind of like an all-around test of just car performance. Alright, screw car. Very slow. Stop, go, and again on the ground, stop, go. Not that great at acceleration, but it's also not that great at speed either, so it's quite jumpy on the top, bouncing around. Alright, that was a finger screw, upgraded this much, 3, 4, 2, and 2, so not really, didn't put much coin into it, but that's what it is at a pretty basic level. Now let's try out the police car. Tuning is 3111, so upgraded the engine twice, and everything else is stock. Go. When you have the system sounds on for the engines and stuff like that, which I turned off just because it's kind of annoying to, I mean, when you play games and live and you don't crash right away, and I can last maybe like 5 minutes or longer, depending on the board and the car, really. But just hearing the engine making that weird roaring sound that they make, because they don't sound like regular engines on here, which it's kind of fun hearing the different sounds that they put on each vehicle. But I just don't like listening to them for a long period of time. Alright, so the nose hit the ground there. Traction right there is not that great at all. So, I mean, stock tires again, so I I do like the cars that fall apart, though. They're kind of fun to watch break, especially the ambulance. And this is the end. Can't make it up the hill. Well, maybe can. Maybe I could have if I had kept my momentum, but nah. And that was with level 1 tires, so maybe if I had upgraded the tires it would have performed better, but as it is right now, it's alright. Ambulance, upgraded levels 9, 5, 8, and 7. And here we go. Hatch door is already opened on that. Pretty sure ambulance doors open sideways though, not like up and down. And definitely not a flap. Oh goodness. Poor guy. I do really enjoy driving the ambulance just when I'm having fun, seeing what I can make fall apart. If you are looking for a board that is going to do damage to your car very easily, that would be cave. The just regular caves, brown dirt with a ceiling, and it will get really tight in there, give you a good spot to hit the ceilings, and if you play it right, you'll let the guy in the front live and smash the back roof of the ambulance, and then it opens up even more. And this is completely destroyed. Alright, and that was ambulance. Now for electric car. Actually, really quick, let's look at the tune. Engine, battery, tire size. So you can apparently change the size of the tires. So here's tires on level 1. And here's tires on level 4. So as you can see, they're quite significantly bigger. But interesting car. I'm pretty sure this is the one of the only cars that you can change the tires on. Not many have that option. I believe fire truck actually you change the tire size on as well. So, and I do enjoy the fire truck actually, because it has that ability to have really big tires to go over things, especially in like the junkyard. I noticed that if you are able to manage to stay on the hind tires on certain cars, they do go a lot faster. Especially the, what's the car? Hovercraft. Hovercraft goes a lot faster when it's on its tip end, and I'll demonstrate that later when we get to there. It's quite a lot of cars to go over. I thought about doing a single video for every car, but that'd be like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do a single video on some of the cars, you know, because some of them, they suck compared to the others. They're just aesthetics. So overall, I did like the performance of the traction. The speed was good. Comparing the electric car to the hill climber, I would say they were about the same. The hill climber was faster, but this one had slightly better traction. It doesn't tip over. That's a definite for sure thing between the hill climber and that. It's much harder to tip over, and that was with the level 7, 5, 4, and 7. So, Super Diesel 4x4. Stop. Alright, so quite good at stopping, actually. In fact, we'll go again, because I wasn't expecting it to have that good of traction. Suspension needs to go back up. Alright, so this is levels 4, 2, 3, and 1. So, just upgraded a little bit. In fact, when I'm completely stopped, if I gun it, will I tip over? Not yet, at least. Maybe once it's upgraded a little more. It's quite bouncy. I like the chassis. It looks pretty good. It doesn't bounce too much. I feel like it's got just enough bounce that you can use it to your advantage, but it's not uncontrollable. Fuel goes fairly quickly in this car, I'll say. You can see it's already at like nearly down to a half tank over just that short distance. And especially being that some of these stages are very gas deprived during the farther down the track. I would not say this is a good long distance car, at least with a level 1 gas tank, of course. Maybe once it's further upgraded, but definitely not at level 1. And we'll pass on the rally car since we already demonstrated that next to the race car. Alright, so the dragster. Tune levels are 7, 5, 4, and 3. So let's go. So, very much like a drag racer, if you hold down the gas button and you don't control the front, it will lift up that front and continue going forwards. But that tail fin really does help it from tipping over. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing a video after this. Oh, it did actually break. So hit it hard enough, and that tail fin will break, and so that's something to note. But what I was talking about before was thinking about doing a video on these different stages on countryside, seasons, desert, Arctic. I'll probably do it with the car that I decide to be my favorite after testing these all out at the very end. So watch till the end, or if you don't have time, skip to the end. Probably should have said that in the beginning. If you've watched this far, then, you know, you probably have some time. Alright, so fire truck. This is at 11, 6, 5, and 6. 5 and 8, I mean, sorry. But you can see the tire size is upgradable, just like on the electric car. So let's go. So hose swings, good traction. Very good shocks, actually. Very good shocks. You saw it hit the ground right there. Quite well. Doesn't bounce too hard. The person on the back is loose. Let's see if we can't make it open all the way. So that is something to note, is when you come down and you're going in for a rope bridge or even just a ramp that has a high tilt, the suspension in the front of the fire truck will go down so much that the front truck driver will, Joe, the guy in the car, will hit the front of the ground and drive her down. So all around, I do really like the fire truck. I definitely think this is one of my favorite cars, especially on, where is it? Junkyard. It's very nice to have a truck like this because it can make it over all the junk and the other cars that are around. And so I do recommend this as one of my favorite cars, and I will be continuing to upgrade it. Alright, now for the chopper. 4, 3, 3, and 2. So, alright. Oh, this is cool. So you have the ability to change the length of the front of the tire and the handle, the roll cage for the bike. So let's test it out. I see. So the roll cage helps it not tip over. So if you come into a spot where you roll too much, well, this is not safe. I'll say that for sure. So if you break the roll cage, you may actually do this. This is quite fun, actually. Apparently his feet don't count as if they hit something. Whoa. This would be quite a fun thing to have on Arena when you're making those huge jumps. It is a little problematic having him swinging around though like this, because it definitely does jerk on the bike a bit, and it is harder to control. Definitely not an easy one to control. How much of him actually has to hit the ground to count as... Whoa, his head almost came off. Alright, so it looks like his head actually has to hit the ground or the top of something for it to count as him to be driver down, so something to pay attention to. Lowrider. So what are the characteristics on lowrider? Engine, tires, right height, rear height, and front height. So you can change the height of the car. So on here it's really low. So let's test this out. This is completely stock. Fairly good. I will say I do like how the front is not hitting the ground on the rope bridges, because that is a problem with some of the cars. In fact, I think this car will hit the ground. It is bottoming out, but at least it's not hitting the ground and stopping it in its tracks like the fire truck did. And I think one of the reasons for that was the fire truck is just, it's a big heavy car, so it's not made to go on rope bridges or anything, so definitely needs some upgrades on this car. But even with upgrades, that right there is a problem. So when you are driving and you're in the lowrider, you will bottom out, and in this case, even if the car had a fully upgraded engine and traction right here, it would still be stuck just for this reason. So definitely not a performance car. Let's try it that time. This is gonna be fun. 10, 5, 7, 5 are the upgrades, and let's go. It's kind of cool how it's riding on the lower axles, but they're not actually connected to the car. It's just hovering. I do like how when it leans back, it still has traction, because it has the whatever that angled part of the treading is, so that way it can still have good footing. So if I need to stop right away, like, stops pretty fast, goes pretty fast. One thing about this car that is different from other cars is when you lean back versus staying flat. So when it's flat on the ground versus when it's on the back of the treading, it does not actually speed up faster than when it's flat. So that is a difference from other cars, which makes the tank unique. So at least unique to most other cars. I do think that the off-roader, I think it's called the off-roader, we'll be seeing it shortly. In fact, I might jump to it because it's quite similar to the tank. Gas is doing pretty good. Traction's really good. In fact, I think this is really an overall good car, specifically to this board, just because it has the treading and the shocks to be able to make it so far. So, in fact, I could probably go a little while longer, so let's pause here and go to the next one. Tank Super Off-Roader. Alright, so this is 4, 3, 2, and 2. It's got downforce. Does the tank have downforce? That is a good question. No, it does not. So that is a big difference. And I think that's mostly because it has a spoiler, whatever the fin thingy on the back is. Pretty good traction. It does not have as good a side treading for the tank, where I don't have a lot of treading when I lean backwards like this. I've only got that little tiny spot of the tread that sticks down. It's quite fast. Being a diesel, though, apparently they actually do have diesel and gas vehicles, and they sound different, and you can tell when you have the sound effects on. But I noticed that if you can tell the difference between the sound of the diesel and the gas accelerate much faster than diesel, but diesel are much stronger. It's my dog. Well, I mean, I'm watching my parents' dog. It's Dixie. She's making her bed, flattening it out. That's what the noise in the background is. Alright, so let's stop here. In fact, let's try to crash on purpose. Let's see. Reverse. Nope, not very good at tipping over, so that is a overall good thing. Especially since it has the foiler. So, I do think this is a nice car to have, and let's go on to the next one. Truck. 10, 8, 9, and 9. So this is a good, decent way upgraded. It's about halfway on 3 of the things, and I'd say it's roughly halfway if you sum them all together. So let's go on the truck. Pretty good acceleration, especially for a diesel. I will say that because of the extra tire, it does have better traction than most other cars, because they are actually, their traction is proportional to the number of tires that they have. So that's quite nice for hill climb to have programmed it in that it's, like that. I do notice that we have the same problem as we did with the lowrider and the fire truck, which is the front will hit the ground, and I think that's mostly because the front is weighted. But pretty good at stopping. But I should expect that because of how many tires it has. What I love is when it's going uphill and the front tire comes off the ground, it still has 2 tires on the ground, and because their suspension is built right, they both stick to the ground, so I have extra traction, and because there's 2 tires in the back, that's double what would be if the front tire came off the ground on any other car. So double traction for the truck, so that's a really good plus. And reverse. Gas, and let's see. Alright. Next car. Dune Buggy. 2111. Nothing unique. Standard engine, shocks, traction, and gas. And let's go. Fairly good. On a scale of 1 to 5, I'd rate this a 2. It's not as good as I'd like it to be an average. 5 being best, 1 being terrible. So I'd say this was okay, under okay. Hovercraft. Now this I have maxed out, and for good reason. The hovercraft has the ability to drive through liquids without slowing down. It's like any other car when it goes through the liquids, and this is especially helpful for places like any place that has liquid. Mud pool, beach, volcano, it drives through the lava. It does burn. In fact, let's make sure. I'm not 100% sure. Question: will hovercraft lose fuel by driving through the lava? And that is a yes. And you can tell it actually does float. Alright, so myth busted. Try it out on land now. And everything on this is maxed out. So it doesn't drive very fast when it's when it's flat grounded. So let's demonstrate this right here. That's about top speed. But then as soon as you get on the end, like the rear end or the front end, you'll notice it speeds up quite a significant amount. Now this is extremely useful when it comes to coming up big hills, because it puts all your traction, you start leaning back, and all the traction goes onto the rear rubber bottom, so you go really fast, like as you can see right here. So this is very nice for big hills and for liquids, which makes it quite a significant car. And I did not get to demonstrate the con because it crashed, so let's try this again and see if I can't recreate what happens to me when I go too fast. And that would be you lean back, your airfoiler gets suction cupped to the ground. So if you lean on the back like this, there is no getting out of this. Reversing does not help. You can, because it just suction cups to the ground, and if you go forward, you crash. So when you are on the foiler, you're done. And so that is the one problem that I have to say that I dislike about the hovercraft. Alright, so with that out of the way, next one is mini bike. Mini bike is completely stock. I like to just collect the cars, so I haven't worked on upgrading each one before moving on to the next one. But some cars are special in unique ways, and that is why I like trying out the different ones, such as the hovercraft sticks out as better for liquids, so that's a significant thing to have in your garage. So let's go with the mini bike. Kind of like the trophy truck I was talking about earlier. The trophy truck is so long that it doesn't tilt easy. Well, this is the precise opposite. It is very tiny, so you are able to turn in direction in the air very quickly. Quite bouncy. Needs better shock upgrades because it keeps bottoming out and hitting the ground. But you can see it's very jerky in the air. You can see that it turns back and forth fairly quickly. And this is quite a good car for being stock, for being a bike. But that's about it. Just a mini bike. Next car is the Big Finger. I'm still saving for the fast car, so I will not. So So the big finger's got a couple things great about it. It's got downforce and roll cage. So that is quite a good thing. In fact, I've seen some videos of people who have used the big finger on jungle to make it ridiculously far to the spider monster in the end that you have to get the last trophy by surviving, and they have done it by using the cage. So quite a significant thing. It's definitely something unique about this car, which is why it is definitely recommended. This is one of my, I say top 10, but I really don't know how many cars are in my top 10. Could be 15, could be 5, but anyways, it's one of my favorites. So let's go. Very good. I like this a lot better than the fire truck. So fire truck I liked because it could go over things and had big tires, but this has just as big or even slightly bigger, it appears, on tires. Its suspension is really nice, and it has just as powerful or more powerful engine once it's upgraded, because I don't think the fire truck would ever be able to do this once it's fully upgraded. And it definitely can't go on its hind like this, because the fire truck has a rear end that sticks out past the tires with. So this is definitely a much better off-terrain vehicle than I'd say most of the rest. So let's demonstrate using the roll cage. You can see it started to brake there. Now it started to brake again, so that's level 2. And that's level 3. Alright, so all around I do really like the big finger. That was one of my favorite cars. In fact, when we hit the end, I'm going to go through and pick out the cars that are my favorites and tell you which ones stuck out to me as significant for performance. Alright, so here's the train. Kitty Express. Keep your hands, keep your arms and head in the vehicle at all times. Alright, so if you hold down the gas on the train and the boost on the bottom right gets to red all the way, it starts on fire. You'll get Joe all smoky, and then his Smoky Joe. So, and when the car does catch on fire, it burns fuel rapidly, and you see that on the top left. It'll flash green and red and yellow, but then when you let go, it's green again. The rear cars do not have traction, so they do not roll. The front end is the only thing pulling, so that is not great. And when I first got the Kitty Express, I thought that it was going to be a great car for roller coaster. It is not, because I can't make it up the hills. I lose traction, and it's just not as good as I hoped. In fact, I have found the rally car to be much more helpful on the roller coaster. Alright, Moonlander. This is one of my favorite cars, like really favorite, because it can fly when fully upgraded, or most of the way. So let's try this out. First off, it's got 3 tires, so it's got really good traction. It can accelerate quickly. It has a high top speed. The arm on the front, when it gets hit or damaged, stands up and acts as kind of like a support. I'm going to try to damage the bar if I can. But let me show you a demonstration on flying. But I really like how when I go into the caves, if I hit the arm on the ceiling, it actually breaks the arm to where it stands straight up, to where it reaches up as high as it can, and then kind of acts as like a pad on the roof of the caves, to where it won't hit the ceiling easy, and then it's able to crawl through the caves with like an arm that sticks up holding the ceiling, so it won't jump or bounce off the ground and hit the ceiling, hit his head. So I do like that about the caves. The problem is, however, and that like that with the arm standing up, well, that arm will hit the top of the cave and then push it from hitting the ceiling, so it can crawl through without jumping off the ground when it goes over a bump and then hitting his head. So I do like that. But if you go too far in the caves, you run into a tight squeeze, and then the Moonlander cannot fit anymore. So I had to break the record on the caves using my rally car. So let's go with the hot rod. Tunes are 4463. So it's got tire size and four-wheel drive and tire size, so it's got front and back tire size upgrades. I do notice when I drive this car that the tire size does actually increase strength the smaller it is, and loses strength but increases with speed the larger the tires are. So, alright, let's test it out. You can see the rear tire is slightly bigger, and that's because I upgraded it to level 4, where the front tire is level 3 in size. Alright, so the boost on the bottom right builds up very quickly. I don't really notice anything happening when the boost hits the end, though. My fuel doesn't leak, and doesn't catch on fire, so I don't see any problem with holding it down. Very good at stopping. Wow, so it had 2 levels, so it had the roll cage on the top as well as the little cover flap, but definitely not strong, definitely not something to rely on if you are planning on hitting the ceiling, as opposed to the rocket, which has a very good shell over it. You have to hit it pretty hard to actually break it, and we'll demonstrate that in here. But this is different because it has rocket boost, and we will show this working by holding down. And so you see it's got a pretty good acceleration, pretty good stop. When you lay on the ground, it pops open. But so the boost on the bottom right, you hold down go and stop, and you use up all the boost, and then you have to wait for it to recharge. And as soon as it's ready, it starts to shake and flash green and then go. Now you do not have to wait for it to fully charge up and flash green before you can boost again, but what happens is it just doesn't have a lot left, and it does burn fuel like crazy. You did notice I rolled right there and it did not pop the top off, so it does actually have to hold or hit really hard for it to do that. Alright, let's turn this up a bit. Gotta go plug in. Alright, I'm back. I had to plug it in. Phone's been, when I started recording, I was actually at like 40%. So, lasted an hour to go down to 5%. So, pretty good, because, I just got my phone, and Galaxy S20 Ultra. It's really good battery, good performance. I like something I do like about this phone that sticks out is my game booster right here. When you tap that, I can turn off notifications so nothing pops up when I'm playing the game, especially on Call of Duty. That is a huge help, because I hate getting phone calls in the middle of Call of Duty or big text, and it pops on the screen, and then I gotta tap it, and then it takes me to the text messages, and it really hurts when you're on like a battle royale or something. So, anyways, but we were at mutant now because we just finished the rocket car. Boost was not all that great, but at the same time it was only at level 3 boost, so can't be disappointed in it yet. But alright, mutant car. Engine, suspension, traction, and downforce. Let's try it out. Now, the mutant is actually a mutant, and you can see this because it has monster truck mode, which is fairly good at driving. Tap both the gas and the brake to change into race mode, and then even cooler than that, boom, bubble. You will not hit the ceiling or the ground. You are nearly, and I say nearly because I have died in bubble, nearly completely safe. You have pretty good traction. You can go up hills and stuff. In fact, I love to change during racing depending on the terrain. So as like something where I need to make a jump real quick, like right maybe here, and then I turn back and bounce. That's a problem with the race car, but it's kind of nice because it's like it has the features of a lot of different cars that could be useful. Like if you make a big jump on like arena or something and you are worried that you're about to come down and hit the ground crooked and it's going to hit, you're gonna flip, or you need to catch to safety like that, boom, you got it covered. The only thing about being in bubble that you don't want to stay in bubble for is it's very slow compared to the other two mutations of it. So you only want to be in bubble when you're not sure where you're going to hit the ground or you want to jump. Like maybe right here. Let's see, I'd like to do that. And boom. Alright, let's go to the next one. I do like this car. It is definitely very nice. It has having the 3 different features that it can turn into are very handy. It's like having 3 cars in one game, so I definitely like that car. Luxury car. Alright, so I have upgraded Max the money level. All it does is throw money while you're driving, and it's kind of fun to watch, so I've had fun upgrading it, but let's try it out. So there's always 2 people, and as you can see, well, not always 2 people actually, that's what I'm going to show you, is they throw money, you drive forwards, and they get collected. And they do roll, and if you don't hit them or you go past them, they disappear, so you don't get them. And they call these tips from the drivers, from the passengers. If you jump too high, you throw them out. So that is so fun to do. And the pool does continue to leak water. And there it was. Now, let's try this again, but I'm not going to completely race this time. Let me just show you. Restart. They switch positions. Then they switched again. Then back. And then back. And now there's only 1. So, and sometimes it'll only be one of them, or sometimes it'll be both, but it's kind of fun to have the random rotation of it changed. And he's fairly safe in there, all things to get considered. And what's terrible is when you actually throw out your driver, you toss him out like this, or you actually toss him out like successfully or something, like that. They no longer throw you tips for some reason, so it's a little disappointing. So you have to drive carefully if you want to keep getting tips. But anyways, though, he is pretty safe right there. I mean, seriously, he hasn't hit the ground, so. Alright, next car. Tarantula. Alright, so we have gears, suction cups, gas, and engine. Let's try it out. Very awkward, weird thing. Doesn't go very fast or far, and when I first got it, it was absolutely terrible. So, it's definitely an aesthetics car, not performance. So, that's about it. Not really good acceleration at all. So now let's go to the sleigh. We have 4 reindeer. I maxed out the reindeer. When you first start, you only get 1 reindeer. So upgraded the legs, the shoes, and the hay, which is proportionally, or respectively, suspension, traction, and tank level. So let's go. You cannot fly even with all 4 reindeer. That is what I wished happened when you did, and I kind of wish that you could fly longer than this. That's why I actually got all 4 reindeer, which they were quite expensive to get, but I really wish that they could go up higher, and they don't, so that was a disappointment. However, I wasn't disappointed to see Rudolph leading the sleigh, so that was kind of nice. The reindeer do sometimes get tangled up if the front one goes too fast and too high. They kind of loop back around onto each other and make like they all get tangled. Kind of like this. Man, how do you get out of this? I am stuck. So that's one of the things that can happen with this car. Anyways, sleigh. Sorry, not a car. But anyways, that is it for now. I will have a video coming when I get the fast car demonstrating it. Hopefully I'll be able to get some extra coins to upgrade it. But we made quite a few today. I mean, when we started there. So definitely making some progress. Let's go over the cars and see which one stood out to me that I liked. Not any of these. Trophy truck was nice. I definitely like the trophy truck as a suspension race car. Race car that's good with traction like the junkyard. So trophy truck is one of my favorites. That is on the list. None of these. Ambulance is fun, but it's not my favorite car. It's not on the good list. Rally car is definitely one of my favorites. It's very fast and has good traction and it sticks to the ground well. In fact, I love rally car on roller coaster. It's very good at getting to the next gas before it runs out. Fire truck, I like fire truck. That's one of my favorites for rough terrain. We did not do snowmobile. We skipped to the off-roader. I hope nobody noticed that. Please don't tell me that I missed that. I'm gonna show you in a moment. Let me just finish. Hovercraft is one of my favorites. I definitely like hovercraft a lot. It has got to be one of my top 3. Right up there with Moonlander and Mutant. In fact, if I had to pick 3 favorite cars, it would be Hovercraft, Moonlander, and Mutant. Another favorite car is Big Finger. I really like the Big Finger. It has a long-lasting gas tank. Moonlander, I just told you, was top 3. Mutant was top 3. And that's it. So, all in all, best cars that I like are Trophy Truck, Rally Car, Fire Truck, Hovercraft, Big Finger, Moonlander, The Mutant, and that is it. So, a really quick demonstration with the snowmobile. I have already tested out the snowmobile before, in case you were wondering why I did the favorites list before I showed you snowmobile. It's because I don't really prefer snowmobile. And to give a real fair comparison, let's do the Arctic because it's on snow, so. I'd say it performs about the same on snow as on land. But that's about it. Nothing stands out. It doesn't break. It doesn't fall apart. Gas is alright. Pretty basic. But just had to do that since I forgot. That is it though. That is all the cars, starting from beginning all the way to the end, excluding that one, which came out recently. So, alright, I will probably do another video, one on stages, and we will go through every stage using my favorite car, which is #1 favorite listed, Moonlander. Moonlander is my favorite car. If I had to pick one car to have upgraded fully and kept, would be Moonlander. And so when we do the next video, I will be doing on every stage trying out Moonlander. And so stay tuned. Bye.